Like I said, this is your turf. I appreciate the opportunity. I'll try to give you a good guest. How's that?
Oh man, I'm already motivated to do this.
Let's go. Let's
All right,
go.
let's
I'm
do
ready.
it.
I'm fired up.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of content, Corey Dissin. Welcome to the podcast, brother.
What is going on? How cool is this?
Man,
Hanging out with my man.
This is brilliant. You're usually the host, and now I get to host you for the next 35, 40 minutes, man. I feel honored.
Yeah, I'm honored. It's like, man, I got the easy part now. You got the hard part.
Oh man, let's start off with, how has your morning been?
My morning has been great. Every morning is my time, man. Morning is my prime time. I'm 48 years old, but I probably act more like I'm 78. But I get up super early, usually up around 5 a.m. and I already have, a couple meals in me. We get a workout in, we walk the dog. I do some content in the morning, check some messages and whatnot. But, the best time for me is that quiet time where my wife and I get to have that cup of coffee in the living room and just prepare for the day.
I like it, man. I like it. One of your sayings I really love is "go get it." So
There it
you
is.
go and get it in the mornings. What are some of your habits that you've got to do to make your day go as planned as you want?
Well, the first thing is you got to know what you're doing for that day before that day.
That's right.
And that's important. You got to document your schedule. One of the things I preach is you got to document. So I have lists for lists, right to the side of my desk here. I've got a healthy list written. I've got things in my phone. I've got sticky notes. I know what I'm going to do prior to doing it. And even when I first wake up, I got one eye open in the dark. I look at my phone, I review my schedule, and I say, okay, this is a reminder what I have going on. And then, I'm just prepared. I don't have to worry or think about, oh man, what do I got to do today? It's like, even if I have a lot to do, it just kind of goes on autopilot. I follow the list. It's just like a script. Just follow the script. You'll get to the end. There's no need to deviate from it.
Yeah. What if your script gets kind of misread, or maybe something happens to your script? What do you do?
There's always times where you're going to have to call an audible. Someone throws you a curveball, you get a cancellation on a meeting, or you get an emergency from a client. All those things happen. And you just got to be able to roll with the punches. You try to be efficient in your movements with how you work and operate in the day. So sometimes, and I also try not to book a lot of things back to back.
Yeah.
I always try to leave a little cushion in between. So it's like, you get a mulligan if something happens, so you can, because even leading up to, our discussion today, I was handling some mulligans, some things I wasn't expecting, some client issues and things, just doing them quickly before you and I jumped on.
Right. Yeah. I watch a lot of your videos live that are on LinkedIn. So I get notifications. I'll hop in and just watch the content as it flows and the interactions you have. You are very interactive. I love the fact that you acknowledge the guests that actually sign on to view. How are you able to balance seeing the guests sign on and then also keeping focus on what you're trying to accomplish throughout the video?
It is definitely a high wire act for sure. No doubt. I mean, to be able to sort of walk and chew gum at the same time, because I want to be engaged with the guest, because on the interview show, the one you're talking about, I have a couple of the shows, but especially for the interview show, I don't use a script on purpose. As prepared and as regimented as I am with everything else in my life, for that particular show, the appeal of that is it's an organic discussion. And I want to be able to, I'm not just waiting for the other person to finish talking. I'm listening, not just hearing. I'm listening. My old man used to say that all the time. Don't just hear, son, listen. And I'm listening because I'm thinking of, there's something I'm going to be able to respond in what's being discussed. So I'm kind of, I'm trying to listen in one ear, and then I got one eye this goes. There is no lie. I'm trying to do, and what I've been doing for a long time, is build a community. It's not just a cool logo or a T-shirt. It's a movement. Go Get It has evolved into this mission. Where I got folks that used to work with me or follow me, helping other people and cheering them on and motivating them because they see the benefits of having that sort of mirror, that objective person looking at them and going, "Come on, man, you got this. Come on." It's fun that way.
Man, I like that. So you're frozen up a little bit. But I will say it's kind of like having you as the head coach, and you've got all these assistant coaches, and now they're growing, or the CEO, and you got all these senior vice presidents, and they're growing, and they become their own CEOs or head coaches, and that's a contribution because of you. It's awesome.
Well, that's a great analogy you gave as far as managing and delegation. Prior to my little venture here, with my coaching business and consulting business, I ran a national production company for almost 30 years. So I was in charge of a massive amount of information of clients, of vendors, of employees. And, I learned pretty quick that you can't do it all yourself. Nothing. You can't do it by yourself. You gotta pull your weight. But in order to really have a mission at scale, you got to have people pulling on the same side of your rope. So
Right.
I spent a majority of my time in the corporate world having conversations with people to get them to pull on the same side of the rope and to delegate and to walk away and say, okay, that's your job. I ain't doing it, but you better freaking do it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily have that sort of hammer attitude with my clients and colleagues and vendors now, but you want to be able to have folks that can do their job without being micromanaged.
Yeah.
And even my clients, I don't micromanage them. I give them the freedom. They don't talk to me if they don't want to. They can wait a couple of weeks, but I also give them the liberty to text me every day if they want.
Right.
I'll have as much control over their mission as they want me to have.
Yeah.
I encourage it, as much as possible because they're obviously paying for it. They want to have the value.
Right.
But, I also want them to have the freedom because, I'm the coach. I can't go into the batter's box with you. I might show you how to hold the bat, how to swing the bat, and maybe talk about your approach on the fastball with an 0-2 count, but I can't swing it. You got to swing the bat.
Right.
So, we have an understanding with that and it works out pretty good. So it translates into everything I do.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I love your energy and I see it on the videos and I can read the energy through your posts. So what do you do on your downtime? Are you hyped up like this all the time?
Well, I mean, no, the answer is no, but this is my personality,
Yeah.
I'm a hard charger. Go Get It is as much about me as it is about what I expect from everybody else. I've been a go-getter since I popped out of the womb. I mean, I didn't have a choice. It's just, you got to go get it. You want something, go get it. Don't depend on somebody else. Go get it yourself. So I'm very independent minded to begin with. And I have a severe allergy to complacency just in my own life. And when I see it around me, it bothers the hell out of me. I don't like it. And my wife will tell you, after that coffee's done and the morning hug and the kiss is over, I'm on the move. I mean, that's everything from household chores to walking the dog to paying the bills to, doing my marketing and promotion, so from when I rise and I have a very little bit of downtime at the end of the day, maybe hour and a half, because I go to bed at like 8:30. I'm like I said, I'm like an old man.
Wow.
I don't stay up late. I don't watch a ton of TV, because I don't have the patience for it. Maybe I've developed ADHD in my old age. Who knows? But I'm big on productivity. I feel good if I know I've accomplished a lot. If I've knocked out the bills, if I made the bed, if I helped cook dinner or went to the grocery store or helped my clients or whatever it is, I'm sort of consumed with being productive. I'm not really good at just hanging out.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Complacency. Being allergic to complacency is a good allergy to have.
Yeah, you don't need to take no Claritin for that one.
That's pretty funny, man. What are a couple of questions that Corey wishes people would ask him, but no one ever asked Corey?
People would ask me, but they never do. A lot of times I don't get asked directly, can you help me? To be able to, for someone to be able to take their hands off the wheel and say, I need help. A lot of times it's a more circuitous route to extract that out of them, because they think, as a client, it's all about a transaction. And a transaction takes place. You pay me money, I offer you a service, but it's not like you it's not like you pay the money and you get this product back and you walk away. It's not like that. It's a relationship. We're learning. I'm reacting. I'm helping you from the sidelines to make decisions. And if we just knew right away, hey, can you please help me? I need your help. I don't get that question explicitly. I wish I had that question more explicitly. And, other folks, some folks have a tough time being coached, like to be able to say, hey, if I were asked the question, hey, this is new for me. I've never worked with a coach. Are you going to be okay with me learning how to be coached? Most folks have to be told, you have to learn how to be coached. And, and that's not everybody. I have some clients that are very candid right from the start. And I mean, those are home runs. I love those clients. I love all my clients, but some are easier to get up and running than others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I look at it as, for me, self-motivating, right? It's being self-motivated to go do something. However, even as self-motivated as I am, I still need that kick in the rear to get it.
Hey man, look, with what I do for a living, I have a coach. I'm not ashamed to say that. I have a high level dude that I work with who, I'm probably like a fly on his rear end. I mean, he's dealing with Fortune 500 guys, who are, operating these big businesses. I mean, I'm pretty ham and eggs compared to that, but that's fine. But look, Muhammad Ali had a coach.
Yeah.
Derek Jeter had a coach. It's good to have that person you can lean on, because not everyone understands what your journey is about, what problems you have. I'm not Superman. Look, I do a lot of super things, but I'm human. I got my kryptonite too. There are things that happen that you need someone that can identify with what your struggle is, what your pain points are. And if you have someone that's been through it, that has the experience, that you can trust, that means a lot, man. It means a lot.
Yeah. So two things. One, maybe if you want to disclose what is just one of your kryptonites, and you talk about trust. Trust is big. So how do you view trust as, how do you earn it? How long does it take? Something like that.
Well, I mean, what tends to weigh on my mind in a personal sense, even though, not everything you get coached with is professional. But it affects your professional. If there's things going on in your personal life, and if I'm having not an issue, but there's anything where I feel that my family is under attack, whether it's a medical issue or whether it's they're dealing with a particular obstacle in life, my two children, my anything like that, I'm like crazy defensive emotional mode. Like I'm Tasmanian devil on that stuff, man. I go bananas. And to be able to bounce those episodes or situations off of someone that is a professional, like not necessarily a psychiatrist per se, but someone who has helped other folks make some life decisions.
Right.
That's key. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that, I live in a very small town in the middle of nowhere, Southern Virginia. and I did it on purpose. I lived in suburban Philadelphia for almost 30 years. And I made a decision a few years ago that we were going to call Yahtzee. We were going to downsize. I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to sell the cars, all the toys, get rid of all the junk. And we're going to go live someplace where we can be sort of anonymous, and it's a slow way of life. Good for, stress-free, or as stress-free as possible.
Right.
And, my coach helped me navigate through that whole transition. I walked away from that production company that I worked with. I basically walked away from it. A huge 6-figure salary, ton of responsibility, ton of perks. I walked away from it because it wasn't important anymore. And to make that transition of, hey, you're pretty comfortable with your revenue, to, oh, by the way, all you're going to have now is your own entrepreneurship. And when you have a family and bills, that's a big bridge to cross, right? And, having a coach to be able to say, all right, A, you're going to succeed, and B, here's how I recommend you're going to succeed. These little milestones, it was key. It was key. Couldn't have done it without him.
Wow. That's amazing. That's actually, you went from high 6 figures to, hey, we're just going to go off on our own, sell all of our stuff.
Cold turkey.
Wow.
Cold turkey, man. Wow. And I would have still assisted the company remotely, but it didn't work out. Let's just say it didn't work out. It's the easiest way I can describe it. And you know what? Best decision I made, because it ain't about the money.
Yeah.
I can pay my bills. We live comfortable. There's food in the refrigerator. We're good. But like I said, the number one currency to me is quality time left, QTL, time with my family.
That's great,
There's
man.
nothing else that replaces that.
That's a legit mindset. I love it. I like it a lot.
Every day. I am the luckiest SOB you'll ever meet, that I get to wake up every day. I wear gym shorts and a t-shirt every day. I don't have to report anywhere. I'm not, landlocked to an office or chained to a desk. I make my own hours. I can travel. I can run my business, using a cell phone anywhere in the world. And I have. It's a luxury.
Yeah.
And I got money in the bank. I mean, come on. Where's the lottery ticket? I already cashed it. I'm good.
I love it, man. I love it. Dude, we talked about a lot in the last just 10 minutes of your life. What are maybe one or two defining moments, I call them, in your life that you think about that has really changed your trajectory to where you are today?
Well, the absolute number one defining moment is the day my youngest son was born. Period. I have a stepson who I've been his father. He's 33 years old now. I've been his father since he's 12 years old. And he's a special kid, and glad he's in our life. He's not my blood, but he's mine. But my father told me, he said, the moment your wife gives birth to your son, your life's going to change forever. And let me tell you, it changed forever. And for one of the reasons was, and get this is a true story. The day my youngest son was born, my wife had a stroke. Same time. So it was a very, and luckily my wife's fine. She's crazy good, but she's great. And my son is at that moment in my life. And it's not something that, you don't get a letter in the mail, you don't get a text on your phone, but you instantly figure out it ain't about you anymore.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Defining moment in my life. And another big one. I mean, obviously we just talked about one, transitioning, coming out here to Virginia. That was pretty big, but leading up to that, making the decision that that's what we were going to do. We didn't just snap our fingers. It was years in the making. And, it was literally like a 10-year plan. My wife and I mapped it out, everything from setting up finances. I didn't know I was going to be doing this, but we knew that we weren't going. We were going to figure out a way to be independent to, have, I don't want to use the word freelance, but to be self-sufficient, self-reliant. That's the better word. We knew that was going to happen. There were several things that we put into place year after year and so on and so forth. And around 2018, that's when I said, okay, now we're coming around third. It's time. We're getting ready to score a run here and let's go. And then, so from July of 2018, when I officially launched sort of Go Get It Nation and my consulting business, it took me till the following July of 2020. So it took me 2 full years until we broke the golden handcuffs and changed our lives. And it added years to my life. I guarantee it.
Man, I'm on LinkedIn and I started using it a little differently than a lot of my friends, which is fine. But I came across your LinkedIn profile and I started following you, started watching it. It's like, man, I love the energy. And I feel like this is what I need. And I feel, and to a certain extent, I think a lot more could watch these videos or these clips of you and feed off the energy for the day, to feel their energy for the day. I feel there's a lot of my colleagues that, man, just another Monday or something like that. But I love it, man. I love it.
Well, I thought that was something that was missing in the content marketing world. I mean, there's podcasts and there's live streams and there's tips and tricks and everyone bragging about they signed this piece of business or they bought this piece of equipment or whatever else. And I thought that there was a void. I mean, look, obviously a guy like a Gary V is like, he's the godfather of all this stuff. But I didn't think there was anyone kind of collar, little in your face, candid, direct, blunt, telling you like it is. And, I don't want to say I don't care what you think if you don't like it, but I'm not worried if there's any pushback on it, because literally I can more than happy to defend myself, even physically, if it needs to be, if you don't like what I have to say. So I have this forum now. I have this opportunity, and I'm not trying to beat people up. I'm just trying to keep it real, because there's a lot of sunshine that gets blown around on the social media airwaves, and all that stuff is out there. It has one of two purposes. It's either to make the other person, that person, feel good just by saying, "Hey, I'm on." It's very narcissistic. Or it's to try to fill their appointment book. They're baiting people just to try to get that next session or sell that next service or widget or product. Anyone that knows me and has known me through the years, it's what you see is what you get. This isn't some act. I'm not performing. I may be a little more pumped up when I'm on screen or recording a podcast, but that's because I'm passionate about what we're talking about. It's be very easy, and I can count. There's countless times where I've been in business meetings or staff meetings where I'm the same energy, or on a sales call or whatever it is. It's like, I learned when you do something, whatever it is, you don't do it half-assed. You do it 100%.
Yeah.
And there's no point otherwise. So I demand that of myself. And I also feel that because I'm very visible, I couldn't put my head against the pillow at night knowing if I'm putting myself out there to you and telling you, Wong, that you have got to get up early, you got to document everything, you got to hustle, you got to go get it. And if I'm not doing it myself, who the hell is going to trust me, to help them or to pay me? Right. There's no value in it there. Right. So I look at Go Get It Nation. I look at you. I'm accountable to you. You're not going to keep watching those videos. You're not going to be inspired. You're not going to be motivated. You're not going to tell your friends about them if I'm not walking the walk.
That's right.
There's a lot of talkers out there. Ain't a whole lot of doers. There's how many people have you seen that say, hey, you got to eat healthy and you got to, exercise. But who's out there showing that they're eating healthy and exercise? You go on, I don't do it on LinkedIn, but if you go on my Instagram or my Facebook or my Twitter, there are demonstrations after demonstrations of me putting in the hard work, sweat, and dedication into the gym to keep my old ass in shape. And just to show you that, look, am I a bodybuilder? No, I'm a pretty damn strong old guy, but I'm no Arnold or I'm no Stallone or anything like that. But my point is I'm a regular guy doing some irregular things.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why you can't either. And just take a page out of my book and go get it. Just go get it. Just do it, man. My pops, and I'll tell you another thing. My dad told me all kind of good stuff I learned from him. Still do. Even though he's going to be 80 years old. He would say, don't try, do it. Because when I was a kid, if it was whatever it was, I'd say, Dad, I'm trying. He goes, don't try, do it.
Yeah.
And that is like permanently seared into my cerebellum. It's like I think about that all the time. You don't just try something, you do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. I went off on a tangent there.
No, that's great. Talk about your dad, my grandfather in Vietnamese, when I was younger, he always told me, nếu mà con không muốn làm, ai làm cho mày? It's like, what he's saying is, if you don't do it, no one's going to do it for you.
It's great advice, man.
Yeah.
It's great advice. It's the truth. You know, there's so many people that walk around like this. And for those of you who can't or not seeing this and only hearing this, I'm walking with my palm out like, give me something.
Right.
And there's a lot of people in this world that are waiting for someone to meet them halfway.
Yeah.
And life doesn't happen that way. You got to go the distance yourself. There's a funny saying, you never want to listen to the radio station WIFM. You know what that is? What's in it for me? Right? You don't want to listen to that station. You don't want to walk around with your hand out. So you can quote me on that one anytime you want. I won't even send me a residual check. It's fine.
Yeah, this whole thing's quotable, by the way. It's great.
Oh, go for it, man. Dude,
use
it at will. If it can help somebody, I'm having fun here. And if it turns out we help somebody, then that's a bonus.
Guaranteed it will. It's already helping me, so you're already winning.
Yes, let's go.
Man, what's your path forward from this point next few years? What do you think? What you got going on?
Well, business wise, thank goodness, things are good. I also own a design firm. We do logos and websites and that kind of stuff. And that's continuing to grow in a good way. We do virtual assistants. We offer some folks. That's growing as well. I think I'll always be doing this in some capacity, but the reality is I'm sort of semi-retired now, if you think about it.
Yeah.
I work every day, but it's never 8-9 hours in a day. An hour here, to the grocery store or whatever, go run some errands, go watch my kid play ball up at college, whatever. And, we're probably going to amplify that even more, because the reality is, look, I hope I live to be 100. The reality is I'll be lucky if I get to 75 or 80. So there's the clock's ticking, man, so what's important to me, like I said, is spending time with my wife, spending time with my kids and probably soon to be grandkids. Like I said, I got a 33-year-old stepson, just a matter of time before he starts spitting out little ones. And that's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. Everything else is fluff. The money, the houses, the cars, that's all fluff. It don't matter. It took me a long time to figure that out. I didn't know that as a young man. I didn't even know it in my probably early to late 20s. I still was consumed with having stuff.
Right. And
having stuff is overrated, man. Overrated. You know what the real value is? Freedom. Freedom. I know that word resonates with you. There it is. Freedom. And I don't mean that, of course, in a patriotic sense, but freedom to call your own shots, to work when you want, to go where you want, to be where you want, to talk with who you want. That is the metric that everybody should use to measure their success. Freedom.
I agree.
Money will come if you're doing stuff right.
Yeah. That it's validating to hear you say that, refreshing too, because last year I started storm shelter cleaning business, going to clean storm shelters for people and employ some of my veteran friends that work with me, and we got to go and do this together.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, look, between employing, fellow veterans and you're doing a service that protects people, that's admirable, man. You should sleep well at night, man, for sure.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Phrase for you, voiceover. What does that mean to you?
Voiceover is a whole other world, and most folks aren't familiar with it because it's just sort of they take it for granted when they see a television commercial or a radio spot or a movie trailer that there's a guy talking or a gal talking in it. It's a piece of it, but it's a whole cottage industry, and that's where I got my bones. I working on that side of things. I managed a major market talent for 10 years. I booked and casted tens of millions of dollars of that product. That's just kind of what I fell into out of college. Enjoyed it. It's fun. I got a chance to meet some really cool and interesting and some prestigious people along the way, being involved in the media and advertising and entertainment business. It's really sort of a microcosm for the entrepreneur at large because it's all the same thing. I talk about with voice talent all the time. I don't get involved with them and how well they perform. I stay out of that lane. There's other people that can handle that stuff, but it's how they run their business. You can be the most talented fill in the blank, voiceover artist, storm shelter cleaner, podcast host. You could have the most ridiculous talent of anybody in the world that does that. But if no one knows where to find you, and if they can't remember you, there's a reason why there's a term called starving artist. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
You got to be able to know how to stick out in the crowd, get people to remember you, and then ultimately get them to spend money with you. And there's a wide drop off between, most creative folks, most entrepreneurs, even if they're really, really good at, or they have a really good widget or whatever it is, it's tougher to turn that into a profitable business. And I don't know how this turned into a pitch for me, but sorry, but that's what I specialize in.
No, I like it. Because there's so much that you're talking about that's just natural to you. But for me, as a consumer of trying to consume as much knowledge as I can with my brain being a sponge, you're giving me a lot of advice, and it's pretty much free right now.
Yeah, man, dude, enjoy. I mean, I'm happy to do it. I mean, that what you just said is the reason why I do what I do, because, there are things that, yes, that I didn't just wake up one day and go, oh, I have all these cool things to say. These things developed because I had massive failures and lots of experience. With experience comes wisdom, and you learn. And if I can pay it forward and pass it along to someone that has never heard or seen or experienced some of these isms, these core isms, whatever you want to call them, and it helps you. Well, the only thing I ask is, long down the road, you better pay it forward to somebody else and pass that knowledge along. Not just what you're hearing from me, but the things that you've learned. It's important. There's not enough of that out there. Right. And, you got to be able to, people pick up life experience all the time and they're afraid to share it because they're afraid about getting pushback or they're afraid of a negative response. And lucky for me, pardon my language, but if you respond negatively to the advice that I'm giving you, that's on you, man. Because, I'll if there's 100 people that hate what I have to say and one that benefits from it, mission accomplished. Let's go. Let's get the next 100. Bring it on.
Let's go get it.
And that's how you have to be. You have to be able to function that way to be successful in business, because you're not going to appeal to everybody. And that's where most people get stuck and frozen and paralyzed when they get the negative feedback, the no's and the non-responses. They think they can't win. They're not willing to go 100 more reps to get that success.
Right. Have you seen the movie Days of Thunder?
I had years ago with Tom Cruise,
Yeah, with Tom Cruise,
the race car driver.
the
Yeah, but
race car
that, I
driver.
mean, so I'm dating myself. I probably saw that in the theater when it came out.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I can't recite anything from it, but do tell.
So what you just talked about, the negativity, and you're the entrepreneur, and you have this idea, and you want to keep going forward, and you have a coach yourself. And it's almost like there's a wreck, and in Days of Thunder, there's a wreck in a turn, and he's already been in a wreck, so he's recovering. Long story short, he's experienced the exact same almost deja vu. The coach is saying, "Hey, just go right through the smoke, stay high, go through the smoke." And he starts doubting himself. He's got milliseconds to think. Well, he listens to his coach and he goes through the smoke. And once he clears that smoke, it's like, boom, mind blowing. He made it. No one's going to beat him. That's what I get from you.
Well, that's a great example too, and that's why so many small businesses fail within 5 years because it gets tough, man. It's tough. It's tough to be successful. It's tough to grow. You can't. I'll say things like you can't set it and forget it. You can't hit an easy button. You can't mail it in. You got to be invested in your success every day. You have to put much more energy in than you'll ever get back and be okay with that.
Right.
And social media is sort of a highlight reel for a lot of people, even myself included. I mean, I put my best ofs on there, but I don't always share every trial and tribulation leading up to that point. And even with the modicum of success that I'm, enjoying now, there are things that pop up throughout the week or the month that, you're going to have challenges, and you're either going to step in the center of the ring, you're going to take a couple punches and give a few back, or you're going to sit in the corner. And I just refuse to sit in the corner. I'm not going to lose. There's no losing, period. It's like, I'm going to fight, bring it on. Let's go. And I've had that attitude for decades.
Yeah.
I mean, with anything. And, I'm hoping some folks are listening and absorbing that attitude, because there's no reason why you or anyone else listening or watching this can't take it upon themselves to tackle their own lives, their own, entrepreneurial pursuits, whatever it is. There's no reason why you can't succeed. There's no reason, none. It's not about how much money you start out with. I think I might've started my little thing with, I don't know, $500. That's it. I didn't borrow any money. I was very, very humble, modest beginnings. It's not about that. It's about your daily process. One of the things my coach told me, and I'm a huge practitioner of, and I believe it, is consistency over time yields results. If you want to blow up, you got to show up.
Ooh.
Every day. That one's mine. The consistency over time yields results. I attribute that to Coach Dana Cavalier. You can look him up. But if you want to blow up, you got to show up. I'm going to own that one.
That's good. That's good.
Amen.
Last question for you.
Every day. Go for it.
How do you want to be remembered?
Very simple. Whether it's if I get to meet the big man upstairs one day, or they chisel it on my tombstone, I just want them to say, "Way to hustle." That's it. Way to hustle. Because that's how I live my whole life, is just hustle. And, trying to outwork everybody. Way to hustle, Core. That was you asked a very profound question, and I hope I dignified that with an equally as profound answer. But to give you an anecdote of how important that is to me, I played high school baseball. Okay. Pretty good player, didn't go to the next level, could have, but for other reasons didn't play in college. But my point is, the the school that I played for, they gave out the MVP award, the Rookie of the Year award, this performance award, the best hitter, the best all that stuff. But the award that I wanted from the moment I entered the program as an 8th grader was something called the Jim Roberts Memorial Hustle Award. And they gave that to the player who was like the hardest worker, who was the first to show up at practice, the last to leave, the one who was a good teammate, the one who carried the equipment bags, the one who, no matter what the score was sprinting full speed down to first base. And I knew that I wanted that award. And as a senior, I got it. And I still have the plaque. It's sitting, but there's a closet right behind this screen here that I keep it in there. It means a lot to me to be known for someone that hustles, that works their butt off. I take a tremendous amount of pride in that. And like I said, if anybody's going to remember anything about me, it's like, man, that dude worked his ass off. And that's a good thing.
Yeah. I hope to meet you in person one day and shake your hand. However, if I don't, I'm going to remember you as that dude that hustles and is one of the most motivating guys. Just you hit me, you touch me, and I love it, man. I appreciate you, Corey. I really do.
I am eternally grateful that A, we met, and B, that you thought highly enough of me to welcome you on your show. And I can assure you of this: when I meet you in person, you will not only get a very firm handshake, but you will get a big ass bear hug from me too. How's that?
I love it, man. I feed off that type of energy. I do.
And I'm here. Anything you need, you just reach out.
I appreciate you, man. Any last closing thoughts for our audience?
Oh, there's only one way to end this podcast properly. Whatever you do in life, whatever goal you seek, whatever definition of success that you're chasing, go get it.
I knew it. Look at those. Hey, you don't have a conceal and carry. You just carry, man.
Hey, man, these ain't sleeves. They're holsters, man.
Oh, man.
That's not bad for 48 years old.
Dude, that's legit. Man.
Woo. Yeah, buddy.
Man, I appreciate it, Corey.
I could still sling the iron up. Was
Dude,
putting up 275 on the incline press for multiple reps just yesterday. So
275 on incline?
Incline barbell press, yeah. And I'm in the 400 club on bench press, which I'm pretty proud of. Yeah, my personal record is 405. And I can also tell you that you're familiar with the NFL Combine, right?
Yeah.
So they do the bench press there, right? It's how many reps you can do of 225.
Yep.
And these are all guys who are 19 to 22 years old that do that. And these are big offensive linemen. Some of them are 300 pounds, 6'4". Okay, you want to guess what my record is for that?
32 reps.
That's a pretty good guess. 34 reps.
Wow.
And I got video to prove it. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say so you can see it. 34 reps at 34 legit reps, which would easily be probably in the top 10 of the NFL Combine. Those guys are young enough to be my sons.
Dude, you're right. There's no excuse.
None, man. None. There's none, man. It's unbelievable. So look, and I sincerely mean, I know we're done recording your show, or
I mean, it's still recording, but I can.
Yeah. So, I mean, if there's anything you need, and I'm not talking about hiring me, just dude, send me a note. You need me to, whatever. You have a question, you having an issue with your business, just reach out to me, dude. Don't be bashful.
I appreciate that.
I want to try to help you as much as I can. You're a good egg. You need to keep doing what you're doing. I like the material that you're putting out. You have great energy.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You need to keep it up. I love that you're in the service. That's a big deal too to me. So, keep doing what you're doing. There's not enough Wongs out there. Okay.
Likewise to Corey, man. I appreciate it, brother.